We are live, the three Cellini brothers, with a guest today, our mother. Hello, mother.
Hello,
Arguably
mother.
the most important.
Jim, introduce her real fast, and we'll go over there.
This is our mother, Diane. Diane, welcome.
Hey guys.
God.
Doesn't know what to say. She's nervous.
Yeah.
Hey, I've done plenty of Teams and Zoom meetings. Y'all hush.
Yeah.
First time kind of nervous.
I'm on Facebook.
Long time caller, first time, or
I'm
long time listener, first time caller.
I taught
Yeah.
virtually for a year, so y'all hush.
Yeah.
Y'all hush.
Yeah, hush.
Yeah. I'm sure that's what we'll do is hush for the next hour, by the way. All right. So mom is visiting Tommy, as you guys can see. It's been, I don't know, a couple weeks now since we did an episode. Apologies for the layoff. I'm Dr. Jim Cellini. I'm joined by my lesser brothers, Dr. Michael and Dr. Tommy Cellini. Mom, you would agree that they are the lesser brothers, correct?
Can't agree to that.
Okay, well,
But you are my favorite because you have my granddaughter.
that's true. I have
The
the
only-
granddaughter. I
the
have
one
the
and only.
granddaughter. I have the granddaughter.
But what was he before
Um,
that? He was nothing.
That was nothing. We were all nothing.
Yeah.
All a
And-
bunch of
and-
nothing.
It's all about Beatrice.
And one of us has risen.
Ascended
He
the
has risen.
grandchild mountain.
Yeah. So over the last couple of weeks, let's see. Michael got COVID. Michael got
Yep.
robbed. Tommy went to Guatemala.
Yep.
Did not get robbed.
Nope.
I did nothing but go to work and watch my child. And
3
I
days
went
a
to
week.
I went to
Yeah,
Asheville.
You went to Asheville.
Yeah.
I went to Asheville. That was
Yeah.
super awesome. It makes me want to move there because I loved it so much.
It's
I don't
Um,
know. I have mixed reviews about Asheville.
Well, that's because you're not in the outdoors and hiking like I am.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I hike all the time.
Yeah. Michael hikes 18.
That's true. I did last night.
So yeah, Michael, tell us about your. I know you made a video about it, but F your channel. What? Tell me about your getting robbed, because all I saw was text messages about this.
Did you watch? You probably didn't watch my video, did you?
No, I
For
haven't
the
had
record,
time.
I'm the more loving brother because I called immediately after it
That's
happened
true.
to
That's
check
true.
in. Jim's like, "Pff, whatever."
Tommy and Caitlin called immediately. They were the first people I spoke to. They
Really?
called on. Actually, Tommy called me on the way as we were running back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was leaving work as soon as it happened. So I just called him. I was like, well, hopefully he answers.
And Andriana was freaking out, and I had to be the level-headed voice of reason.
Right.
I mean, rightfully so. She was freaking out. It's kind of scary.
She was
Yeah.
definitely shaken up a little bit. I was just kind of like, that sucks. I don't know. I mean, it's not like, I don't know. It's one of those things like you get attacked like that. So just the quick little story is, so we were basically walking in Barcelona at night. I did a whole video on it. You can go watch it on my channel. It describes everything. But basically 2 guys plus another group of guys, they just out of nowhere just like stopped the scooter in front of us, pushed Andriana to the ground, tried to push me on the ground, failed. And all they wanted was to get my watch off my wrist. Got my watch off my wrist, and they dipped and ended up going to the police station. We got it back and all that stuff. But it was an interesting experience. I described it all on my video. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. But yeah, I was excited. It was a terrible ending to our time in Spain, to say the least.
Right. And that was in
So-
Barcelona, right?
That was in Barcelona.
All right.
So and
Did
then
it ruin
I made
Spain
it.
for you?
I really liked Mallorca, but we were talking about it. Is I think we're a little fortunate because we can go to Croatia so often. So any kind of beach over in that region, I guess we're just kind of lucky. And we compare it to Croatia. We're like,
Yeah.
it's not Croatia. We even met there's a guy sitting next to us at one of the bars, and you know how Andriana and I speak like Croatian English to each other, and he was sitting next to us, and he was like listening. He was like kind of staring at us, and he was like, "Are they speaking Croatian?" Because we just kind of make stuff up.
Yeah.
And
Do
Pishka
you want to steal your watch?
no, he was actually really nice. He was doing a open sea swim competition out there,
Oh, wow.
Cool.
and he's from Belgium. Well, he's from Zagreb, Croatia originally, but he was like, "Are you speaking Croatian?" And then she's like, "Yeah, but I just kind of mixed it up with my husband." And then they started speaking Croatian. He basically said, all of his friends from Belgium and everywhere were like, "This is the most beautiful place ever in Mallorca," which it is. It's gorgeous,
Yeah.
but he was like, "It's just
Dude,
not
remember-
Croatia."
Remember we were literally here
Yeah, Zlatny Rat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except there's 3,000 more people on the beach.
Yeah, I wish that's probably
So
winter
many.
time right there.
I remember being like right here and jumping in the water and then swimming to the boat.
I mean, this guy's doing yoga. That would have never happened when we were there.
No.
Yeah, I
Remember
would've
how bad
di-
the waves were right there?
Yeah,
it's
I would have.
brutes.
I would have
Yeah.
dislocated my C1, C2 doing that. But
Yeah, for sure. It's
Lanto
Zlatny Rat
action.
on Brach. And the good news is we're going back to Croatia in 2 months,
Ooh.
okay.
probably to that beach.
Well,
So
yeah.
get that going.
Mom, since you're here, how does it feel hearing about your middle child getting robbed in a foreign country? That's got to make you feel pretty good.
Oh, it scared me to death. I texted him immediately and started talking to him after that. So I couldn't wait till they got home. I was so worried about him.
We
I was
couldn't either.
kind of glad he got knocked down a few pegs myself, but I'm just
They
kidding.
didn't knock me down though. They tried, but the
I'm
thing
just
is, they
kidding.
didn't want to fight me though. They were like
I
smaller
was-
guys,
When you told me you got your watch back, I was actually a little disappointed. I was like, you needed to take it a little bit there.
I can't
I'm
believe
just
I
kidding.
can't believe you got
I'm
his
just
watch
kidding.
back.
I can't either. But I was talking to my mother-in-law tonight about honestly, and it's just the whole situation is just so shady. I mean, we got our watch back, but
Getting robbed? Yeah, I would say that's the
Well,
definition of shady.
that the other shady part
It's
is,
the ultimate shade.
and I'm not even
It's
joking
kinda
when I
shady.
say this.
These guys just mugged me. I was like, what are they doing?
They took my property and beat me and my wife off. That's kind of shady of them.
This guy stole my watch. This guy's kind of a shadester.
The shady part about it was I got my watch back, and like who knows who's working together with the police department or the jewelers or some connection there. Who knows? I'm not
Right.
going to even get into that.
Yeah.
But the worst part about it is I know Joe probably got like at least 200 messages saying the same thing happened to them
Seriously?
within the last few years.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's why I mean, there's like certain countries and cities, like there's like a huge pickpocket, like thief presence, I guess you'd
Yeah.
call it.
big
And-
European cities are notorious for that. But I mean,
Yeah.
same in New York. And someone was like, because on my Instagram I posted that don't go to Barcelona, because Barcelona is one of my least favorite European cities, and I've been to a lot of big European cities.
Mhm.
And even before that happened, I was like, the architecture's cool, but the vibe was a little off. I don't know. And I talked to some people, and they said, kind of post COVID, same thing happened in New York City, same thing happened to Barcelona and other big cities, where it kind of like it was popping, and then it kind of like took a turn. And that's that. And the fact that and then the person who was like, you shouldn't just say nobody should visit Barcelona. You can get killed in New York City. It's more dangerous there. And I was like, yeah, well, I'm not
Well,
comparing. I didn't say go to New York City.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't
Right.
care if you go to New York City.
Yeah, do
But
whatever.
I'm
I
not
don't care where you
comparing it.
go.
Yeah, I'm not comparing New York City to Barcelona. I was just saying, don't go to Barcelona.
Yeah. So
And also,
all
that's my
all
opinion.
I know, yeah, it's my opinion, and I just got robbed there, so cut me some slack.
Yeah, as if I'm like the head of the tourism
Yeah.
board there. Like,
He's
I
like,
know.
do you know all the jobs they're going to lose if you tell all
I
these
bet.
people? It's like, probably zero, guy.
I bet.
How about
I
that?
bet if this guy goes to Sicily and gets robbed, he'd be like, "Oh, dude, I would go back anytime, man." Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know
Like,
where I
okay.
loved was the place I got robbed from my watch.
Okay, dude,
Love
go
it.
get robbed by 10 dudes, and then tell me if you want to just advertise it and
Yeah.
tell people to come there.
Yeah.
hey, you guys should go to Barcelona.
Yeah.
The best place on
Lonely Planet, where I got robbed.
You know what the crazy part too is, Michael? If you literally just were like, if those guys came up to you and they're like, "Give me your watch," or we're gonna like push you down, you'd probably be like, "Here's my watch."
Well, literally in 2 seconds,
Yeah.
I would have been like, okay, take it.
Like,
Here, I don't care, man. Good
Yeah.
for
it's just
Yeah,
like
you know?
one video.
yeah.
I have a question.
Oh, here he goes.
Michael, I have a question. So what would you do differently next time so something like that wouldn't happen if you were somewhere? I mean, to help other people.
Yeah. The thing
Don't
is,
wear jewelry.
yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing is I guess I wouldn't even wear. Some people are like, I guess I'll just put on my Timex, but like a lot of Timexes look like expensive watches. So like, I don't even know if I would even wear any watch, to be honest
Yeah,
with you.
don't wear anything.
Like at all. And Andriana had her engagement ring on. They didn't. Nobody even cared about that stuff, which is purely the watch. So I would say, no jewelry, dress down, don't dress nice. And I was about as aware of my surroundings. I mean, I was literally tracking these guys until it happened. So that really didn't help me too much. Because the element of surprise, I mean, it really takes you out of consideration for doing anything. But
it goes too fast. You can't
yeah,
react.
I mean, you can't
Unless you're like
can't
Daredevil
react.
or something.
And
Well,
I mean,
you have to realize they're professionals at it. They knew what they were doing, and you didn't. So
yeah, this isn't their first rodeo. I can.
You
assure
talking
you
about you talking about radiology or
bad joke.
no? Okay.
Might have to admit that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark the time.
Omit.
I mean, that's like one of
Um,
those jokes where they'd be like, anything you say, be like, "What is this something a radiologist would say?"
Yeah.
God. Nice
All right.
tie-in.
Yeah,
Thank you.
nailed it.
Appreciate that. I'm rusty. It's been a few weeks because you guys
That's
keep
true.
not committing to this.
Busy.
So, we were both out of the country for 2 week stretch
I
there.
know. It's not, it's not our fault that you just have Groundhog Day every day, Jim.
All right, Tommy, what was Guatemala like?
Guatemala was actually like fantastic, and it was one of the more fun, probably outside of Croatia. It was probably like the most fun I've had on a trip. We went to Antigua, which is the like old capital of Guatemala.
Mhm.
It got destroyed by an earthquake because it's right there on like that Pacific Rim and all that stuff where all the earthquakes and volcanoes are. Then we went to Lake Atitlan, which is like this gorgeous lake with like 3 volcanoes around it. And
That's nice.
yeah, I went with my best friend from college and his wife. We've talked about Lawson on the podcast before, the ER doctor, and his wife's an OB-GYN. And the 4 of us went, we had like a blast. And actually it's funny. I mean, not funny, but after Michael got robbed, literally Caitlin like left all her jewelry, and she wears like 5 rings at a time, like her engagement ring and all that stuff. She didn't wear her jewelry the entire trip. She's like, I'm just going to leave it. She's like,
There's no point.
yeah, she's like, what's the point? And like, especially after
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happened. I mean, I will say Antigua and Lake Atitlan, I was telling Mom and John earlier, it's like, I honestly felt super safe there, but also like my friend Mario is Guatemalan. I did an intern year with. Yeah, there you go.
Is that the
lake right there?
Yeah, that's Lake Atitlan. We stayed in Panajachel, the place on the like northeast part of it, the other side. We went to Casa del Mundo actually. Yeah, there you go. We stayed at Hotel Atitlan. Atitlan Hotel right there. It's an
How
old
did
coffee-
you? So I was kind of shocked that you chose Guatemala. Like that's kind of like a random vacation spot. How did you land on Guatemala?
So we landed there because so Lawson, it's funny thing. So Mario's like one of my closest friends here in Chicago. He's Guatemalan, and his whole family, he's got a ton of family there. Lawson, one of his best friends from growing up, is Guatemalan. And so he actually went to Guatemala for like a swim meet. So the guy, he had like citizenship. So he swam for like Guatemala's like national team or something.
We went to Guatemala for swim meets, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he went to like a swim meet down there a while ago with his friend because he had to like maintain his like national swimming thing or whatever. Yeah. So he went as a kid, and then Tiffany actually, her residency used to do surgery trips down to Guatemala, and they would do like hysterectomies for like fibroids. They would do like cesarean sections, stuff like that, while in these small hospitals like at towns for like a month at a time in Guatemala. And she always wanted to go. She was only able to spend like a night in Antigua. And so she was like, I wanted to go there. And we were going to do a smaller trip. But she was like, if I get a week off, she's like, it's so rare that I'd want to spend it like out of the country or at a beach. So they both mentioned, and I was like, I'm down. Like I wanted to go. At some point I wanted to go with Mario anyway. But I was down to go. But it's like this gorgeous city. Antigua's like this gorgeous with like cobblestone walks with like the very classic like 1-story buildings that are like clay buildings that are like different colors. And in the background, there's active volcanoes everywhere, like in Antigua and the lake. And so you literally see like puffs of smoke going up like every few minutes, like right there. Those are the arches. So that's a volcano in the background.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so like you see all like the different color streets, and like it's all these old convents and like the old capital of Guatemala, but like earthquakes destroyed it all. So everything's built small, but people were like so nice. Like those areas are super into tourism. So they like love the tourist. Where is that?
But it's kind of under the radar though. So were there even a lot of tourists there?
So it's technically, I think we stayed at that El Convento, by the way, last night we were there. That place, super nice. Yeah.
So you stayed at more than one place?
Yeah, we stayed at Hotel Casa Santo Domingo, which is like unreal gorgeous, and we stayed at this place for one night because there was a wedding at the Hotel Casa Santo Domingo. This place was there. All the like hotels and stuff are like gorgeous, but it's big tourist area, and it was rainy season, so it's kind of slow.
Yeah.
But we got lucky with like weather and stuff like that. But they like love tourists because they're like, yeah, this is how we make money. Like, why would we
Right.
want? Because
Yeah, of
people
course.
like the city can be Guatemala City, the capital, at night. Apparently, it can get a little sketchy. Like, people don't recommend you walking by yourself around places like
Right.
Antigua, the lake. They're like, no, they're like, those people want you there and they want to keep people coming back there. They're like, so they're like unreal sweet and they keep everyone safe and they don't put up with like crap around because it's all they're just their goal as a country is they're so decimated by like the drug problem that their goal is to like get drugs and like get the gangs and like the cartels out of the area. Basically, it's like that's all they care about. They're like, we want tourists, we don't want drug money, and like there'll be stops on the way to like just make sure that if you have a van, you're not like shipping drugs around and stuff like that. But it was awesome. I'd actually recommend it.
How was your Spanish?
My Spanish got a lot better actually. It's yeah. The problem I was mixing it up with Italian, so I'd go back and forth.
Oh yeah, you
like,
took Italian.
Yeah, I took Italian, and then like I do Duolingo in Italian. So I'd say stuff, and I was like, "Is that Italian or Spanish?" But I can't even remember. But
Ciao.
yeah. But Lawson's fluent in Spanish.
Oh really?
Yeah, dude, he is like 100% fluent, and it's
Okay.
like, yeah, it's not even because you grew up in Texas. And you got a Guatemalan friend, and it's like all your friends speak Spanish. He took a ton
Yeah,
of Spanish,
that's
and like
true.
he works in an area that would be like 70% Spanish. So he's like, yeah, I just like picked it up and it refined in residency. And then Tiffany, his wife, they're all like, you grow up in Texas, it's like you know a lot of Spanish.
Yeah.
And she was
Working
like,
in the
yeah,
hospitals, you kind of have to.
yeah, exactly. She was like, I know like my patients, it's like you'll have 100% Spanish speaking patients. And she was like, she can pick it up. She doesn't speak it great, but she's like, I understand pretty much everything people are saying to me.
You know, my because I took a lot of Spanish in high school, and for some reason it just stuck with me. But I understand a little bit. I can speak obviously just a little bit, but I'm telling you, the 4 years I took in Spanish in high school are worth their weight in gold. Like when I was just at the police station, because nobody spoke English but
Yeah.
my translator, and he was an Arabic translator, and even his English wasn't that good because they couldn't find an English translator. So he was like the best option for me.
Yeah.
But he was amazing. But just being able to like understand what the police were saying, like have an idea of what they're talking about and be able to respond was like, it was unbelievably helpful.
Yeah.
Shout out to my
actually,
Spanish teacher,
yeah,
who I really liked actually.
It's crazy how much you can actually like
Miss Brown.
like
I was
Spanish.
gonna say it was tough getting him through that Spanish in high school.
Miss Brown, though, she really taught me.
Michael's an idiot.
Clearly.
It
Mom,
tough.
was I a good student in high school?
Yeah, I can answer that.
You were the best, Michael.
Yeah. No, give it for people who
Yeah, give
who
it
were
the
like
real-
me in
the
high
truth.
school. Tell them what the real deal was, Mom.
Michael was into the ladies.
What?
And he was into the Jeeps and he was into athletics and
Or maybe Mom shouldn't answer this question.
Yeah.
Throw me under the bus.
Yeah. Michael
right under the bus.
Michael wanted nothing to do with school apparently.
Right.
I had a lot of
When it-
extracurricular
He learned,
activities.
he had good
Yeah.
grades, but sometimes he, it wasn't his main focus. So, but
No,
he
I just
still had
didn't
good
want.
grades.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I just didn't want or enjoy school. I had
That's a-
other things I was interested in.
Yeah, that was what I remember being like so much younger than you in the house. You just had literally no desire to like deal with anything in high school. Because I mean, it was just rightfully so. It all
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, until
Yeah.
you found like something that interested you. And then when you started getting ready for medical school, you dug in and you learned everything. You really were amazing at that point, what you learned and what you took the time to learn and figure out.
Yeah, I mean that's why like the first 2 years of college are so bogus. Like who needs all of those classes that you have to take, the required classes in college, you know? It's
Well,
so
apparently-
ridiculous.
Apparently doctors do.
No, they don't. Half no, not the pre-med stuff. That obviously
Oh,
helps
okay.
because that's geared towards your specialty. I'm talking like, you have to take like a required literature course or like
So
Uh,
stupid.
Oh, philosophy.
yeah, like you have to take these dumb courses because they're required by whatever. I forgot what some of the I completely blacked them out because I hated them so much.
Right.
Dude, that's what in college I had this one recurring dream about a geography class I literally never went to in college. And I showed up one time, I completely forgot I even was in the course, and I didn't go for like a month and a half in a row. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, do I have a test? And I literally went to like the day of the test, and I took the test after like just brushing up on the website, like what the study thing was. I think I ended up, I mean, it's Georgia geography, like baseline geography. So it's not that hard.
Geography.
Yeah. It's
Literally
like,
just-
Well, how is that a class in college?
dude, no
I
clue,
took-
but it was
I took geography like 3 times in
Yeah.
my life. Like, how,
Really?
like, okay, it's like, this is where these places are. They're not moving.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
First of all,
this is-
everything I know about geography is from my own interest in learning. It has nothing to do with anything I was ever
Right.
taught.
I took weather.
Oh,
Like
wow.
weather.
Good?
Yeah, like weather science or something.
Weather.
Yeah, I don't even know. We learned about clouds.
Climatologist
Dude,
Michael.
Yeah.
I'm over here at Georgia Tech trying to learn C++, and Michael's taking weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember we took a
Wait, I
literature.
have to put in, I hated geography too. Oh my God. I could
I like
not
geography.
stand it.
What's not to like about it though? It's just that you just like, oh, here's a city and this.
Yeah.
those-
It was trivial for me. The final exam at the end, it was Trivial Pursuit. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it is.
okay, I got to memorize a bunch of crap
Just wrote-
so I can take a test.
It's just rote memorization.
Yeah.
Now, I will say, here's a little funny story. I remember in my literature
basically
class.
anatomy.
In my literature class, my first year of college, they like every like few weeks you had to read some absolute garbage book that the teacher or the professor wanted you to read, and then you had to write an essay on it. You had to do it 5 times.
Oh,
And I'm like over here exhausted from swimming, and they made me like read these absolute garbage books that I had no
Yeah.
interest in reading.
yeah.
So like I would just like I look at the like opening like paragraph and just write a paper based off what I thought the book was about. And once I was like, they're not going to actually read this.
No.
Dude.
And I wrote the paper, and then she gave me like a D or something on the paper, and then she went through and wrote like underscored all these things in red, and she's like, this didn't happen in the book, this didn't happen, because I was just like, and she
Oh,
really
dude.
enjoyed her time just making stuff up.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
She
You were
was
that guy.
she got robbed in Guatemala.
Dude,
something
we
like
had to in high
That
school.
never
we had-
happened.
and so I did a bunch of like AP stuff in high school. And like Tom, you did AP stuff, right?
I didn't know what AP was.
Yeah. Right.
You know what's
Right.
before you, Jim? Sorry to cut you off there.
Anterior, posterior.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
nobody even like the term AP like never even crossed my desk. Like no one even was like,
know.
"Hey, why don't you try to get in an AP class? Hey, these are the AP
Yeah.
classes." That wasn't even like thrown around in my like
Right.
aura.
Well, when you can swim down and back really fast, it doesn't matter apparently.
Yeah.
I guess
It-
so.
It is to your detriment when you're that good at sports that like people are like,
Especially
well,
like
you're
a
just gonna be-
marginal sport like swimming.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They're like, well, you're just gonna go to college and be good
Marginal.
at sports. And it's like, yeah, but
Right.
like after that, I have to do something.
They just put you in your lane.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if he was like, oh, he's a D1 linebacker recruit.
Yeah.
And he's gonna go to an SEC school.
Yeah.
But like yes, okay, there's a huge like cash outlay possibly awaiting him in 4 years that'll change his life. But we're talking about swimming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
Like
And
you can make 20K next year off of a tier endorsement. It's like, oh,
I'll
Yeah.
take it.
oh,
I'll take it.
tier.
You can model, you
Um,
can model your Speedos.
yeah,
my
exactly.
my story was going to be, so the one stuff like type of subject I never did advanced anything on was English because I hated it,
Oh yeah.
like literature and all that
Facts.
stuff. And so we had to read The Great Gatsby, and I was in a normal class with like all of the rejects who would never go on to be anything. So I
Ruth.
Wait, this is high school or college?
high school.
Oh, okay.
So we're reading
So
The
you're in
Great
my class.
Gatsby, probably, and we have to write a book report. And this kid, he fudged his book report, and we had to actually dictate our book reports, like the first I don't know page or whatever. Our teacher made us stand up and say it,
Ugh.
and he did what you were talking about, and it was the most brutal thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And he to this day, me and my friend who's in the class that we still talk, he had this one part where he was trying to fudge all this fake Great Gatsby quotes. He's reading, he goes, and she will be mine. And the teacher goes, nowhere in the book is there the sentence, she will be mine. And she goes, Chris, you're just making things up. And he's like, back then he was kind of a skater. So he had long blonde hair that kind of went like this over his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, I think it's in there, sort of thing. So
Think
I mean,
it's in there?
for years, me and my friend Josh, we were in that class. We would go, "She will be mine." We would just like say that randomly. I could DM him. I could DM him right now. Like he runs a company, and I'd be like, "She will be mine." He'll start dying laughing.
Oh,
She will be mine.
She will be mine.
You know, I actually wrote a book report. Oh, God, it wasn't necessarily a book report.
It's the title of the podcast, by the way.
What?
What?
Will be mine.
She will be mine.
That's perfect. Dude, I wrote a. This is just goes to show about a Georgia education, but ex-girlfriend of mine, she was in.
Yeah, thanks, Mom, for raising us in Georgia.
I meant like
Georgia has good
Georgia.
education. Oh, okay.
University of Georgia.
I was like, Georgia has pretty good education.
I always make fun of University of Georgia.
County has very good high school.
Yeah, where we went, where we grew up was very
Our
good.
high schools were actually okay.
Yeah, your high schools.
They were more than okay. Our public schools were all 10 out of 10. Like
Yeah,
literally,
so
if you
Middle
look at the rank-
schools,
Oh,
everything.
your elementary, middle school, and high school. were-
Schools
we
of
somehow-
excellence.
we somehow just like ended up at a 10 out of 10 like entire public schooling pathway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But Michael, I did that with an ex-girlfriend of mine. She had like a lit course or something like that she was.
Is this
had
the
to
one that
write-
made you cry a lot?
No, probably.
What? When is this? High school?
No, this is I graduated. She was still in college at the time,
Oh.
and there was a lit course, and she had to get like a B on a paper or something. I remember being like, I was out of college before med school, so I literally wasn't doing anything. And I was like, I mean, I guess I could. I was like, do you just want me to write it for you? I did the exact same thing Michael did. I read like a handful of pages, and I was like, I got the idea. And like
Yeah.
use book notes. I wrote like
Got
a
the gist.
3-page paper in like 30 minutes on it. And I'm a terrible writer. I'm not good at all.
Same.
I turned in she turned it in. She got like an 80 on it. And I was like, ooh, nailed it. I was like, God, Georgia.
What an indictment on the educational system.
I was like,
Okay, and you guys know your mother is a teacher. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we do know that.
Well, you actually teach stuff that like that's tangible. That's the difference. Like science, math, it's tangible. Like it is what it is. You can't really like it's not subjective like someone's thoughts on how you wrote the paper. You know, like, oh, I don't agree with your comments on the author's soliloquy on this point in the book. Like, who cares? Okay. Who
No.
cares?
that's the most doctor response of all time, by the way.
What?
It'd be like this literature. Fuck off.
The arts don't matter. All that matters is medicine.
No, the arts do matter. I'm just not
do
interested in them.
matter, but
I just don't like them.
not
Why don't you
everyone's
come
in
over to
science
healthcare
math.
and then we'll talk?
No, I like there's a place for everybody. That is not interesting. Same why people in art are not interested in medicine. It's the
Yeah.
same, they're different sides.
They're like, what do you want to help people? Ugh.
Yeah, it would be boring if we
Back to
were
my
only in
painting.
science and math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so should we
All right.
move on to the topics?
Okay, wait a minute. I didn't tell y'all about my vacation. I went to on the way up here to Chicago.
Where'd you go to a cherry tree?
We went. No, John and I went to Mammoth Caves. Y'all stop. John and I went to Mammoth Caves in
Speak into the
Kentucky.
microphone, please.
Yeah, speaking of the
want
microphone.
me
I
to
can
hold
hear
it?
it. I can hear it. I can hear it.
John-
You gotta hold down here.
Okay.
It's too sensitive.
John and
We
I
went-
went to Mammoth Caves.
We went to
in
a peach
Kentucky.
patch.
Stop. Because when I drove up during 2020 and I would drive up here to see Beatrice after she was born, we'd always pass through Cave City, Kentucky and see the Mammoth Cave signs, and I always wanted to go. So John and I finally went to Mammoth Caves on the way up here this trip. I have to tell you, that's a worth going to place, National Park, Mammoth
Where is it?
Caves. It's
Kentucky?
beautiful. We only did the 2 short walks, but they have several caves that have 2 and 3 hour tours. But there's lots and lots of steps and hills, so you kind of have to be in shape to go through all that. But if you can stand being inside a cave, they're absolutely beautiful and definitely worth
Wow.
going to see.
Nice. That's good.
So
How
that's
many?
my
Mom,
I should
sometimes
go.
I forget how strong your southern accent is after I've been in Jersey for so long. And I don't hear you talk
Yes.
for a while.
Yeah.
hey.
When she said Kentucky,
Yeah, she
I-
says Kentucky. It is.
I haven't been south of the Mason-Dixon line in a long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you
it's
were. You
kind
were
of
just there in.
oh, you were in
April.
Asheville.
no, I know. I'm saying with living. Like I haven't
Oh,
lived.
living,
Living,
yeah.
yeah, you haven't lived there
Yeah.
in a while.
Yeah. For those of you who don't think we're from Georgia, this is our mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just listen for 5 seconds. We're
Yeah,
from
there you
Georgia.
My dad's from South Alabama.
go. Yeah, there you go. Deep South.
Granddaddy.
South Alabama.
Deep South Alabama.
Yeah. Granddaddy from Alabama.
Right. Well, you just work hard, you know.
You do.
That's what Granddad always said. He goes, "Well, you just work hard."
He said the same thing that Kim Kardashian says: "Get off your ass
Yeah.
and work."
Right.
Actually, this is a funny regarding that. Uncle or Granddad told me a story one time. He went from like Birmingham, Alabama. He was applying for a job in Atlanta, or I think
he was
Yeah.
living in Auburn, Alabama. My mother was pregnant with me, and I was the youngest of 4. And he had graduated from Auburn, which at the time was the Alabama Polytechnic Institute. It wasn't Auburn at the time. And he had to hitchhike to downtown Atlanta and got
From
a job
Auburn?
interview with a company called Park Davis. And he had to hike back to Auburn, which was a couple of hours. And by the time he got back to Auburn, they had given a message to my mother from another family who had a phone that they wanted him to come back. They wanted to hire him. So then he ended up hitchhiking back to get the job. And he got the job with Park Davis, which I think it's part of Pfizer now. I think Pfizer bought him out.
Yeah, I
years
think
ago.
they-
I'm not
I think
sure.
you're right.
Someone
I think
did.
you're
And,
right.
he
was a pharmaceutical salesman after that,
pharmaceutical
right?
salesman for 37 years. He got the job in 1959 when my mother was pregnant with me, and they moved
Jeez.
to Rome, Georgia 1 week before I was born.
I mean, for him, for him and your mom, that's like punching a lottery ticket.
It was
Getting a
because
job like
they were
that
making, my
back
dad
then.
was in World War II at the very, very end. He went to the Panama Canal, and then he got called up again in the National Guard.
You forget people just did stuff like that back then.
Yeah.
Like,
My dad was
by the way,
17.
I got shipped off to effing Panama to fight in
He was
World
on
War
the edge
II.
of the jungle at 17. Another story is there was 2 guys with him in the Panama Canal during World War II, like 1946. They were 14 and they were twins, and their
Yeah.
parents had signed the paperwork and said they were old enough, but they were only 14 and they wanted to fight in World War II. But he got
Jeez.
called up to the National Reserve and all that, and then they paid for his college when he went to college. And I think they were making like $8 a month before he got that job with Park Davis, and he had 3 kids and 1 on the way.
Wow.
that was
And then he was such. And for
1959.
those of you who don't know, what is it? It's about 2.5 hours from Atlanta to Auburn.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something
Auburn
like
to
that.
Atlanta.
Yeah. So that's a long hitchhike
mean,
there and back.
So
They're
my
back and
favorite,
again.
my favorite Granddad story. Nice little Lord of the Rings reference there, Tommy. My favorite Granddad story was when he talked about how one of his first jobs was just literally walking down the highway and placing mile markers.
Yeah.
Like he just for miles and miles he would
They
walk
just drop you off.
in the Alabama summer.
They would
just-
drop you
he would-
off in the morning, at the
Oh.
beginning of the morning. Hi, it's my story. They would drop you off in the beginning of the morning, and then he would walk all day, and every mile he would put a chalk mark for every mile for them to come back and paint. And he was about 14 or 15 when he was doing
He
that.
was 14 years old walking like 50 miles on a goddamn highway
By himself.
By
You think-
himself.
You think he got 10,000 steps?
And also no sunscreen, no
Oh,
hat,
No.
no nothing.
He probably had a hat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I
long
mean, they had-
sleeves and a hat on.
They had hats back then.
Yeah.
No
that they would-
sunglasses.
But him and Kim Kardashian worked about the same amount of difficulty.
Yeah.
She's
Hey,
like,
hey,
work.
Hey, Granddad, get off your ass and work.
I mean, it's funny. You have 14-year-olds going and fight World War II, and now most 14-year-olds are on TikTok.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Watching Jim's video. Hey,
YouTube.
yeah. Playing games.
All right, y'all done with me?
I think so. All
All
right,
right,
Mom.
no,
Mom,
no.
we'll say
Get out.
goodbye to Mother.
Bye.
Bye, Mom.
Bye.
Goodbye, mother. Mother.
Now that she's gone,
Yeah.
We
say
can
what
curse.
We really want to say.
we can say bad
Yeah.
words.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about girls?
Now that she's out of here.
Yeah.
What's next,
Okay.
What's next on the agenda, Jim?
Probably good that mom left because this would just scare her more, I think. But I wanted to talk about this and get you guys' thoughts on the Tulsa gunman who shot the doctor that tried to treat him and some medical staff. There's a bunch of shooting stories lately, obviously.
Obviously.
But being a somewhat medically oriented podcast, I think touching the subject with this particular one would be something to chime in on. My only takeaway from this is absolutely terrifying for being a doctor and thinking about like failing somebody and that sort of thing.
Yeah. You know, it's funny you brought this up today too, because my hospital sent out a wide email today that we're doing like active shooter training now in our hospital. I'm like, gee,
I was going to ask you, like,
this is what we have to do. We're doing like a what do you call it, like a run through, like a drill. The drill is the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
Doing a drill, like an active shooter drill in our hospital now to kind of do it for this. But one of my good buddies has a friend who is a doctor at this hospital, and he was actually the floor below this an hour before it happened, and his partner was actually in the OR when it happened.
Oh my God.
And he said basically, I think what happened was I honestly I was so busy that week before. I wanted to do a video on this.
Imagine being under anesthesia for a surgery and the mass shooting happens in the hospital that you're at.
Yeah, I think actually,
Crazy.
I think that what they're saying is he came in and like shot the front desk person and then shot someone else or something, and it went through the wall. The bullets went through the wall and into the OR and like killed a patient and a doctor or something, and then also the other doctor, which I may have that a little incorrect because I don't have the facts. I didn't really look into stories that was drawn, but
Oh man.
yeah, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. It's actually something that I've thought of for quite a bit now. I'm like, that terrifies me. All the mass shootings in the schools we see, and I was like, what is that?
What is security like at the average hospital?
Like one security guard out front, like at the opening door where you go to like the main elevators, and then maybe
I
a couple
remember
other.
Going to visit my wife was in Northwestern for some stuff a couple years ago, and just like there's a whole lobby full of like doctors and all levels of doctors and patients families just all intermingling, and there's like one person at a little kiosk in the middle.
There's definitely security, and there's usually, besides the main entrance, there are usually like P-card access only to almost like 99% of the hospital,
right?
But minus like the main front entrance, but there's always a security guard there.
Yeah.
Tommy, do you have like contingencies and stuff for active shooters at your hospital?
Not that I know of, but I mean,
wasn't there somebody last year that did something like that?
In Chicago, there was a at like Lutheran or something like that. There was a shooting where a security guard he killed one of the emergency doctors who he was dating. It was like his ex-girlfriend or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He came in and shot her. I think someone else got killed or something, but he walked into the ED, like the emergency department, and shot his ex-girlfriend, killed her. And then I think like some other person, but I can't remember. Because I remember the woman who died, the doctor that died sadly was she like rotated through where I did my intern year or something like that. So some of my seniors knew her and all this stuff. I forgot about that. That was like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that.
That was an advocate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an advocate. Yeah.
That's so scary.
I was talking with Lawson this week about it, because Lawson, the aforementioned Lawson, works in the emergency department. He was like, dude, he was in
Texas.
At some point, in Texas. He was like, some of this, where there's plenty of guns around in Texas.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In this article, the guy bought a gun the day before. He bought an AR-15 and a handgun the day before at a pawn shop.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, what we should do is arm every doctor, and we should go around like Wild Wild West shooting our 6-shooters.
Yeah. Every doctor should have a concealed firearm in their scrubs.
AK-47 in our scrubs.
I don't know where you're going to put it. You strap in and you have a...
Yeah.
Right.
You can't really access your gun.
Burris with it, pulling my pants down.
It'll take you like 10 minutes trying to get your gun out. Fully scrubbed in.
But Lawson was like, he was like, what more do I have to worry about? He was like, now it's like, I've got people dying, I get intubate. He was like, is it worth it to be like all the time I have to worry about getting stabbed or shot if I'm trying to help someone in the emergency department? He was telling the other day, like before we left, he's like, frisk these people. He's like, I don't want to go in and get shot.
So the thing with all of these where there's like a person at a facility is it's like a metal detector at the front door seems to be like the thing to do, right? Unless they just walk in and just start shooting the people in front of them.
Almost all ER. I would venture to say every ER has a metal detector.
And like doors that lock. And is there like bulletproof glass on ERs or anything, or is that not a thing?
Some probably. Right? I'm sure there's some in like the big cities. I'm sure maybe.
Yeah.
But
you gotta be able to budget for that.
Yeah, I mean,
I know. I've at pretty much every place I've worked that's 24/7 specialty has had somebody calling frustrated about something happened to my dog or cat, and I'm going to shoot up the place. I just have
Really?
every place it happened in Chicago. Somebody called and threatened. I don't know the details of what happened to their dog, but and then as soon as they did that, everything, like, we got a security guard, but the security guard was like, I don't even know if he had a gun, and also the guy weighed like 400 pounds, so like he literally was like could barely walk. And I'm just stating facts. Like he could barely walk from the front door to like the back area, and he would just kind of like walk around the hospital and check on stuff. Like, but I was like, this is not going to be the thing that stops a mass shooter that comes in here, guys.
Yeah.
And like there was so many, like, I'm not trying to get into like a Ted Cruz open door debate or single point of entry, but like, I'm just saying there was like so many doors that you could just walk in and out in that place. The building I'm talking about, Tommy.
Yeah.
Where your old
But, like,
place in Chicago?
Yeah, like you can. I mean, oh my God, it used to scare the shit out of me. And I used to I got to where I was walking home every day in Chicago because I was trying to do like steps and like pay attention to that. So I'd walk to work and back. I lived like 2.5 miles from work, and I would walk home at night every day for a year up until my daughter was born.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would be like, somebody just be like walking down the street. I'm in like down the middle of Chicago here.
Yeah.
Like somebody could easily just like be on a gang, assignment and just be like, hey, shoot the first person you see.
Yeah.
And
sure.
or like, so what if I like messed up a dog's procedure and it didn't have the right outcome and they, decided to track me down and wait. I was like, dude. Anyway, it's I don't know, between that and just thinking about like dropping my daughter off all the time at like places and like thinking about her going to school in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really takes its toll
Yeah.
on me after a while.
It's an interesting thing. I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like weary of stuff like that, which is funny because I remember Caitlin was worried about Guatemala and stuff. And like there's just the safety of it, which for the record, I didn't feel unsafe at all, even 1 minute in Guatemala.
Caitlin worries about everything.
Caitlin
but also like I was fresh off the getting robbed, so I'm sure that had a
that was also my first thought was I hope Michael's okay. Second thought was I was like, oh, this is gonna be brutal for Caitlin.
Yeah.
For my upcoming trip.
Tommy, should we do this still, Tommy?
Okay, I'm still worried about this. Okay, I don't.
I mean,
know.
even Tommy, if you got robbed and I was going on a trip to another country, a week later, I would still be like, oh well, I should probably
I did tell her, I go, what's the odds of it happening twice?
It's
the
true.
gambler's fallacy.
Yeah. I was like, it's been black 10 times in a row. It's got to be red.
Yeah, double zero hasn't hit.
Yeah.
I'm due.
Yeah.
Wait, Jim, I was watching sorry, just a little side note here. I was watching Steve will do its gambling videos the other day, and he was playing Baccarat.
You love that stuff.
He was playing Baccarat, and he's like, it's hit. He's like, it's hit over 9 or whatever. I think you have to hit it close to 9 or something. Isn't that how you play Baccarat?
I don't know how Baccarat works.
It's really easy. But he was like, I mean, it's hit like 4 times in a row, so it's gotta hit again. I'm like, oh man, this is so bad. Anyways, so I'm sure Caitlin was really freaked out.
Yeah, but I was saying it's like Lawson's rebuttal. He was like, you live in Chicago. He was like, literally, he was like, people have been shot around the corner from you more times this past month, and you've like.
Here's the difference, though, is that some people are saying that they're like, well, New York is just as dangerous. Well, I don't live in New York anymore, but yeah, New York is probably more dangerous, arguably. Actually, it is more dangerous, but we also living in the city, we know which places to avoid. Like, yeah, I'm not going to certain parts of New York City because I would get robbed. But the problem is that you don't know that in a city you're unfamiliar with.
That's the thing about European cities is they're so goddamn old, is that everything, whether it's like, it could be the equivalent of like the worst neighborhood or it's all just a really cracked stone building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's the same.
Yeah. It literally, and then like you turn the corner down some cobblestone or whatever, and all of a sudden you're at a Louis Vuitton store that's like in the middle of a castle.
Yeah.
And you're like, excuse me right now?
Literally all those shops were like not that far away from where we got robbed.
Yeah.
Just
one street over.
Adjacent to this, there's been a huge story in the vet world the last week or two. Did you guys probably didn't see this? I posted this on my Instagram.
Let me see it. Let's see it.
So basically, I'm going to summarize what happened. I'm going to make a video about this tomorrow. And give these thoughts too. It doesn't matter if I double dip because who cares? But basically, here's what happened. So this puppy right here,
Oh,
Jax, little German Shepherd, the biggest
German?
ears. I mean, little bitty his ears are.
he's mostly
Um,
yours.
And so this dog got a foreign body, a GI foreign body. It was a wooden skewer. And what happened is the skewer punctured through, I think, his small intestine or his stomach, one of the two. And the owner couldn't afford a surgery. And this
The
is at a
dog, the
clinic-
dog ate it, I'm assuming. Yeah,
Yeah,
swallowed
yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah, he ate it. And this happened at a clinic in Maine, so it's kind of like in my region. And I've sent patients here, and I've seen patients from this place, because everything is up nice and tight in New England.
Yeah.
So, so this dog gets a GI foreign body. It punctures his intestine, and he has like we call it a septic peritonitis, right, or septic abdomen situation. So when that happens, they have to have surgery, otherwise they're going to die basically like every time, right? So that's like an $8,000 to $10,000 procedure because of the surgery and the emergency nature of it, and the aftercare, and the owner couldn't afford it. And so what's going to happen is that she was going to put him down. But at the last second, one of the employees of the hospital said that they would take care of him and like basically take him as a pet, like transfer ownership to them,
Mhm.
and they would cover the cost of his surgery and have him as a pet after that.
Okay.
Now, this happens all the time. I've seen this happen. I don't even know how many times throughout my
Yeah.
career. This is a very common thing
Right.
to have happen.
It's kind of like
doesn't
Bernie.
Well, sort of.
It's kind of ish.
But Bernie had no owner.
Yeah.
Bernie was just a stray dog.
Yeah.
So this is a lot trickier, and you'll see why.
Yeah.
So, but it's very common. Like it's one of those things where it's like, well, this dog's going to die, or somebody else can just take care of it if they're able to. It's like a real fast foster, adoption sort of thing.
I feel like as someone on the outside, I feel like this would happen like every night.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it
that's-
could.
Yeah.
It could. It just doesn't, because not everybody at the hospital is able to rescue every
Right.
dog.
I guess I'm
Yeah.
more so
Well-
like dogs get this and they can't afford it.
Well, right. But what happens 9 times out of 10 is that they just get euthanized.
Right.
They
That's what I'm
can't-
saying.
they
Yeah.
can't
So
afford
this
it.
is like a very common thing.
So the situation is common, but it's also common for people. It's just not as common for people to take ownership and be like, I'll save your dog, but he's my dog now. Because that's better than the dog dying. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what happened. And one of the employees says, dog. So after the fact, the owner goes to the news. The former owner goes to a news outlet in and around there, and they publish this story where it's like, the headline is like, clinic demands $10,000 or dog is collateral or something like that. Is
The
the headline.
media is the worst.
I know.
God.
I know.
Held as collateral.
Some loser
Yeah.
local news thing.
I
Yeah.
know. So
Local
it
news
was
is just fighting for views.
Yeah, they
It
just
was
want anything, man.
exactly. It was local news. Total.
Like
I
us.
got it. I got the best title.
Yeah.
I know.
John, hear me out.
It's just all it is just clickbait central
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to find the actual original.
because nobody watches local news.
Yeah, seriously.
I think this is
No
the
one under
original.
60.
I think this is. I don't know. if this
Forced
is
to
the
give
original.
puppy up. They're not
I
forced.
watch local
Yeah.
news when it's
So
snowing
dramatic.
out.
These are the types of headlines you read. Woman forced to give up puppy over $10,000 veterinary.
That's not
bill.
what happened.
Literally the
That's
opposite of what
not
happened.
She
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
forced to do anything. Okay.
They offered
And
to
also-
take them.
Yeah, and like this is here we go.
I'm sure it was like a
News-
very cordial, like
Newsweek picks this up.
agreed upon thing.
So
Yeah.
it was. So what
Yeah.
happens is, so this former owner goes to the news. They publish this article, and all of a sudden, this vet clinic gets dogpiled, and their Facebook, their Yelp, their Google reviews get lit up by people. I mean, literally giving them death threats, threatening to shoot and burn down the place because how could you do this? People getting harassed. People were calling the receptionist and telling them to like go F themselves in not so many words, and like
Oh
yelling
my
at them
God.
just for no reason. The whole place is getting just completely online and real life harassed because
Right.
of this, because of this news story, and because this owner decided that, oh, actually, I want my dog back after this. And so now she's saying in interviews that she's trying to like go through every means necessary to get her dog back, because so it's just, I hate this so much. I literally wish people would just learn how to take personal responsibility for just what, the responsibility of having a dog and realizing
Yeah.
that this is actually for the best. And even though you don't have your dog anymore, like that's better than your dog being dead.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So if you like maybe think about that, it's just like it just gets back to this whole culture of like everybody just thinks they can have everything they want the way they want it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, can you not just realize that this is the best possible scenario given the circumstance? Like, I understand that not everybody has 10 grand to shell out for a dog, sure, but like we're trying
But
to make the
like you
best of
said
them.
like you said though, Jim, don't get a dog unless you have $10,000 saved up.
Right.
Right. Or insurance. Like
Per
how do people not know
Cellini.
this?
It's- I don't
The
think people
requirements of
realize.
owning an animal.
Yeah, they're like, I don't think they realize that dogs, like, it costs money to take care of.
A lot of
like,
money.
Get like a medical bill. They're like, oh, it should be free because it's like, you're like, it's like if I came to your job and was like, why don't you do this for free? You'd be like, get out of here.
Right.
Like, but
right.
then you
Uh-huh.
asked me to do that for the dog, and you're like, yeah, but it's my
Right.
dog. And they're like, well,
But
that
what's-
doesn't. What's the difference?
Well, right.
I mean, there is a
So-
difference, but like, it's just.
There is a difference, but there's also not, because it's like you can't just get free stuff. Like you can't go in, you can't just get free things because a dog is the collateral here.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about vet med is that there's this third party, the pet, that has no say. They have no way to communicate.
No
and-
say in their care.
Yeah.
Poor
And so
thing.
that leads to all sorts of like bad in and of themselves decisions
Yeah.
being made. And what's going to happen is that vet clinics are not going to do this anymore. And I
Yeah.
know the place I used to work at does not allow this because of similar types of situations that happen. They're like, absolutely not.
And guess what?
And
The animal
guess what?
suffers.
guess what? More dogs and cats are now dead because of it.
Yeah.
That's because of situations like this. So
It's just
anyway,
people
and
losing
also-
sight of like the real, like the positive nature of what's happening here. It's like
they're
someone's
totally losing sight of it.
it's like you just want to be mad about it instead of it's
So
ridiculous.
wait, I have a question though. So she when did she get the $10,000? And like, so she agreed upon the dog being given up to another person.
Yeah,
And then
she
all of a
wrote-
sudden,
Yeah. So I mean, she doesn't have the $10,000. That's
what's her argument then?
her argument is that she's gonna try to like do a GoFundMe, raise it, and then get the dog back. And I'm like,
So this is all
that's not
from
how
the
it works.
the owner being like, yeah, you take care of my dog so it
But
lives.
here's
and then they
here's
pay the money and they go, no, I want my dog back. It's like you clearly are irresponsible in having this dog.
The
and
same-
you gave it up.
The same logic is like if you bought a car you couldn't afford and you're like, okay, someone else will buy it to afford it. And then you're like, well, in like a little bit, once I get enough money, I'm gonna want it back.
Yeah. It's like
Right.
you sold the
You just hold it for a little bit.
Yeah, you sold the property. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah, that's not how it
Right.
works.
Like, no, you don't get it back. They're like, yeah, but it's my dog. Well, now we're gonna ruin the vet office's career. Oh, cool, thanks.
Yeah, but it's my car. It was mine.
Yeah, but
So the
I had it first.
hospital, right? The hospital released a statement, basically explaining the entire situation and what happened. And apparently, the former owner was like, agree to this. She was even saying like, this is fine. Like she signed off on it, and she was like, this is the best situation that we could hope for and stuff. So, and she totally did a 180 after the fact and decided to just get the media involved. And it's so awful. I mean, the poor staff at a place like this that has to endure getting online harassed and bullied and dogpiled.
it's like
Not
it's
to
not
mention
even-
ruining the reputation of a business
ruining
ruined
because
reputation
you
of
were
business.
too incompetent to handle the dog in the first place.
Dude, I'm
Right.
sure it was like a tech or something took over the care of the animal too, and it's like they're made out to look like this awful person by some like horrible statement, and there'll be sorry, Caitlin just walked in and did this look like, so I lost my train of thought. But it's like the tech or whoever it is, now they're trying to do a good deed and like save this dog's life, and now they're just like turned out to be this awful person. It's like that's not even remotely what happened. They were
Yeah,
doing a good
right.
deed.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing too, is like you don't have the right to own an animal. It's definitely a privilege.
Look at this. Look at this.
You
So
know?
if you go on Google Maine Veterinary Medical Center, You see these people that are just giving 1-star reviews and they have nothing to do with anything.
It's disgusting.
So
I might
this
go
guy
get it on
says,
5-star.
look at this. So a bunch of people are like, recently people have been like going the other way with it and supporting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 4.3 stars. That's pretty
I know
good.
they're doing, yeah. So like, look at this. Places
Obvious
run
terrible.
by
Shut
obvious
up.
terrible people who rip people
Trevor.
off and steal dogs from desperate owners. Do not bring your pets here.
Oh, shut up, Trevor.
Yeah. Hey, Kim, here we go. Here's a good one from Kim. Do not take your precious puppy here. If you
Ugh.
can't pay $10,000 for urgent surgery, which no proof of injury was ever shown that the pup had sustained. What does that even
What?
mean, Kim?
What? It's not.
Yeah, there was clearly an injury.
You will be pressured to surrender your pup. Literally not what
Oh.
happened. Hours later, when the
I can't
money
even
was
look at that.
gathered, I know. Hours later, when the
later.
money was gathered, the pup was gone and they would not tell us any more info. More to say, but for now, heed this warning. Do not take your puppy here.
Oh, dude, she's acting like it's a cartel. That's
I
like,
know.
what are you talking about? That's not what happened.
Literally, she just wrote whatever story she felt like writing to
Right.
make her story more
Yeah.
compelling, and then gave it a 0-star. Thanks for ruining business. This is the problem with reviews.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll get on a high horse to that too. Is
You guys, you guys don't have to deal with this in human medicine, right?
no, we do. I mean, we have
Yeah.
reviews of our stuff, you know.
Yeah.
On Yelp?
Not Yelp or anything. Not unless we had like, if I
Sometimes
was
there's
like,
Google.
yeah, you can review any doctor, but the problem is it doesn't really matter unless you have like your
Yeah.
own practice, I guess, you know.
People, there'll be like one review and it's like 2 stars. Be like, the surgery was expensive. And like, I got a bill for it. And it's like,
My
Okay.
insurance didn't cover the surgery, therefore the surgeon was terrible.
yeah, it's like, no, your insurance company
Like,
sucks.
what? Yeah, your insurance company.
Yeah.
That's
How'd the
usually
surgery
case.
go? It was
Yeah.
fine.
Are you alive? I'm alive, but
Yeah.
my insurance company is terrible.
had
Therefore,
a-
the surgeon sucks.
Yeah, I had a perf happy. He saved my life, but afterwards,
That's besides the point.
yeah, ignore that part.
Neither here nor there.
Yeah, the scar was a little too big for my liking.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. I could have been dead though.
Yeah,
But, you know.
I was forced $10,000 to give up my appendix.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
giving him my appendix.
Yeah,
I didn't want to give it up, and I was gonna wait. I was gonna wait to get a GoFundMe to pay for the surgery,
But
but I was gonna die, so they took me to the OR and took my appendix without me asking.
they have 2 stars on Yelp.
Yeah,
This is when people
1-star
really
review,
get
taking
damaged.
my appendix while I was
Yeah.
comatose.
yeah. Also, shout out the people that use Yelp reviews to go to like a doctor or a vet.
Look at this. Yelp has an alert saying they have unusual activity on their page.
It's good for
Let's
Yelp.
see.
That's good. That's good for Yelp. I use Yelp for like the dentist in
Look
the
at this.
city.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's not
Words
bad.
do
yeah.
not words do not describe the disgust I have for this practice. No ethics whatsoever. They will
Probably
steal
never
your
been there.
money
Never.
and your dog. And then he links the news article.
Oh,
Probably never been there, never used their
Links to
services,
news-
don't
oh,
know
yeah,
anybody
this is the-
there. Probably
thanks for
lives
fi-
in like Montana.
yeah.
Thanks for
Cross
finding me
country.
the original news article. Morally bankrupt, cruel, and negligent business practices. Do not
Okay,
take
how
your
can you
pet here.
say I would sue them
Look
for
at this.
defamation?
Yeah,
how can
I
you
would
say
too.
that? How can you say that someone's negligent when you can't prove any negligence?
Yeah.
You're
That-
just
that is-
grossly defaming their practice.
Yeah, it's literally defamation right there.
So
Look at this. Take your dog here if you want it held hostage for a ransom, then given away once you pay.
Oh my god.
wow, that's
I mean, that person
really
has
out of
a
left
life.
field.
Yeah. Get a life.
Look at
bro.
this. Look at this. Complete scumbags for taking the puppy Jacks from his family when they couldn't come up with 10K on the spot.
That's not what happened.
That's not, but still, that's not our problem. First of all, if you can't come up
Yeah.
with $10,000, why did you get a puppy?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like,
what am I supposed to do?
You
Just do
like
every surgery
you-
for free?
like you are aware of what emergencies are, and you have to know that this costs some amount in that neighborhood.
I
Right.
think they think of it as like, because humans, there's a law that's like, if you come to the emergency department, like you have to be treated. It's
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna get, you will get surgery.
yeah, you can't not have surgery. You can't. It doesn't matter. You can make $0.
Well, yeah, but like you're not going to have like a hypophysectomy for free.
No, not like
You
that.
know what I mean? Like you'll get like
Oh,
stabilized.
you'll get
and,
charged
like-
for it, but it's like there's a like most you don't have to pay because people get charged. Like people all the time get like $200,000 bills from being in the ICU, but it's like, I mean, it ruins your credit, which is a horrible part of this. But it's like you don't have to pay it. It's like
But
the
at least you're
company is-
alive.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can get emergency Medicaid, Medicare, all that stuff, which
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
like,
the
I
nuances
think
of it.
people apply that to veterinary medicine, and you're like, this isn't how like you're not required by law to like treat a dog for something. So it's like,
You're
and then
also
they're
not
like,
like
you're a
you-
monster then.
You're also not required to own a dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's
Right.
the
Yeah.
same reason you wouldn't buy an $80,000 car if you made $30,000
Yeah.
a year.
Human
Right.
life is a right. Like dog life is a privilege to be an owner
Yeah.
for a dog. I guess
So,
that sounds weird, but
I'll take that.
I mean, it
yeah, take that part
yeah.
out.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, or you should know that these things cost a lot of money. Like
Yeah,
it's no mystery that vet care costs a tremendous amount of money.
right.
Like that, okay? And there's also 1,000 pet insurance companies that you can sign up for that will cover 90% of this
Yeah.
if it happens, okay? And so and I don't even know if this owner, she might know what she's doing as far as like going to the news, because why else would you go to the news, right? Oh my God.
Maybe they're just confused or something.
Literally,
Give them the benefit of the doubt.
this is
I won't.
I will give them the benefit of the doubt, but like again, why else would you go to the news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the news, all this is literally going to kill more dogs and cats because the hospitals are going to see this across the country and be like, no, yeah, we're not
Yeah.
getting them
There'll be
involved.
policy changes.
instantaneously.
Policy change
Yeah.
emails instantly.
Yeah.
Across the U.S.
Yeah. So anyway, wanted
That's
to talk
horrible.
about that, but I'm going to make a video about it tomorrow. And
I was gonna say I gotta go make dinner. Or gotta go eat dinner.
what are you getting for dinner?
Well, actually, Caitlin made the sauce today because me and Mom were talking outside, and I was gonna make sauce and like marinara and some
Yeah.
like sausage and stuff. And I was
Right.
like, oh. I didn't realize what time it was because of the like time change of things. So I was
Yeah.
like, well, can you make dinner while I go podcast? Because
All
I'm a
right.
good fiance I am.
There you
And,
go.
so we'll see. This is actually, I think,
Yeah.
the first time she's made marinara since we've been together.
Wow.
Because I make
Oh,
it every time.
Try not to judge it.
You
It's
gotta
gonna be
judge it hard.
it's gonna be the best marinara
You haven't even
I've ever
tasted
had.
it yet. You haven't
I
even
haven't,
tasted it yet.
yeah.
Ooh, no.
I'm just
spoon
gonna
in
go
there?
ahead and say it's the best one ever.
Yeah, there you go.
Michael, did you watch Succession?
No, I tried to watch it on the plane, but then they didn't have any headphones for me.
Oh,
You know, it
okay.
had like the 2-prong thing that you can't hook any headphones in.
Yeah.
I was so
Yeah.
mad. They're like, nah, we
Um,
don't have any on this flight. And I was like, good, I'll just stay here for 8.5 hours.
Oh, right.
That's torture.
Yeah, you can stare at your watch,
My broken watch.
your broken watch. Interesting. So, I recommend you watch that show because I just
I will.
I just
I'm going
binged it.
to.
It's phenomenal.
Going
Have you
to.
seen it, Tommy?
No, I saw it on the plane though when I was going. And I was
Oh,
like,
it's so good. And then I started
Jealous.
watching Barry. I just got through season 1 last night.
I need to rewatch that or
I have to watch a lot.
get back on. Barry
Barry is so good. It's so under the radar funny too.
Oh, it's great. Hater,
Yeah.
dude. I'm very pro Bill Hader.
Yes, me too. Bill
He's
Hader
hilarious.
he is so funny in everything
Oh,
he does.
Unreal funny. He's such a good writer.
He has those daydreams about his future life with her as
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a family and stuff.
Oh, so funny.
It's hilarious.
Love it.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Michael, this should be a good clean edit for you.
Hope so.
Guys, like and subscribe. We're slowly inching our way to 1,000 subscribers. We appreciate
We're
it.
back.
Thank you very
We're
much.
back this week.
We're back. We'll be posting regularly on Sunday mornings, so you can make your Sunday sauce and watch us.
Yeah.
Follow Michael at Dr. Cellini on all of his YouTube glory, and less so Instagram these days because you kind of bailed on Instagram a little
Yeah, I'm
bit.
kind of like over Instagram a little bit.
Yeah.
Instagram sucks.
Yeah.
Follow me. I'm at DVM. I'm at DVM Cellini on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I just passed 100,000 followers. I've got 116,000 followers.
Hey, good job, Jim.
That's big time.
Pretty wild.
The
Pretty
big
wild.
leagues.
Somehow you're still just a forehead on the video form of our podcast.
There you go.
'Cause you lean so close to the damn mic.
Yeah, it's just the way I'm kind of sitting, But I am.
It's forehead Jim Cellini.
All right, that's it.
So I'm actually buying a Sony camera on Saturday.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Getting the Sony Alpha 6600.
Let's go.
I always relish these moments when it's like I have not the worst equipment for stuff.
Yeah.
Jim's in the last place at this exact moment. and he's
Yeah.
like, can't have that.
It's gonna be a
Speaking of-
Sony. I've got a Rode mic coming with it and 2 lenses, a Sigma lens
Nice.
and a Sony lens.
Tommy, what are
Jeez.
your purchases? I know what my purchase is after yesterday.
After yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, my purchases. I might buy like an actual desktop computer. Like
Nice.
for and like
Nice.
I've been
What is
looking
your
at some-
purchase, Michael?
I'm buying 2 sand wedges.
Oh my God, Phil Mickelson.
60-degree lob wedge and a 56-degree sand wedge.
Oh my
Michael, go back and
God.
watch Happy Gilmore. We watched it this past weekend with
Oh, I bet it's
Lawson.
hilarious.
Dude,
I bet it's
it's
so funny.
so funny. He spends more time in the sand than David Hasselhoff.
Yeah,
I
I mean
know.
that one's
It's
that
a
one's hilarious.
classic.
Dude. I
Oh.
hit out of the sand wedge, or I hit out of the sand with my buddy's sand wedge yesterday. I mean, everything was just so clean.
Oh my God.
I was like,
Fucking guy.
I literally was just, I'm buying
Talking
one
about
today.
Talking about sand wedges.
Remember
Remember he bought wide receiver gloves with like
Yes.
sticky
Yeah,
stuff on
like
them?
I'm
to
either
play-
going, I'm not gonna half-ass it. I'm going in,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna
Unbelievable.
break 90 in the next few months.
Hey,
Facts.
look at that.
I'm probably going to drive down to see you at the end of July. We're going to play golf, or at least go to
100%.
top. At least go to
100%.
Top Golf.
Do you still play? You think, Jim?
I could probably like function
You could probably get
have
like
to
100
imagine.
something, 110.
because it's not like I was practicing back when I
Yeah.
You can
And
get the ball down the pitch.
I bet he
Yeah.
I bet he
I think I
shoots
could.
102 or 104. I bet
I,
would
I,
go-
I
might be.
I think it's probably 110.
I don't know. I would take the over, to be honest with you.
Oh
but,
yeah. If you're playing legit, then probably over 105.
like if I'm
Yeah.
playing from the back tees, like I'm not going to be able to get it over like whatever the rough is. I'm going to have to just take a drop by
Yeah.
default.
No, not the
Let's-
pros. We play the amateur tees.
Let's do the over under at 108.5.
Okay.
That's probably
It just depends on the driver, man. Your driver's got to be
Yeah.
to either sail out. Actually, you're buying a pack of balls at the store before we do it. You're not using my balls.
You're buying them.
Range. Yeah. You're buying
I thought you using my gloves.
Jim's not gonna fucking buy anything.
I'm gonna use your clubs, and you're gonna buy balls.
Yeah, he's gonna
And
dent
that's-
my driver, and that'll be good.
He's gonna
Yeah.
he's gonna launch him into the water after you buy him anyway, just
I'm
for
gonna
fun.
I'm gonna snap it over my knee like Ron Gant.
All right, let's go. We're ending the
All right,
podcast.
yeah, we gotta go. I gotta go eat dinner.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.